Appamada's programs and facilities are supported through your generosity. Your support really does make a huge difference. You'll find a link for contributions on the website at appamada.org/contribute. Thank you so much.
Universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the road of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the road of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being.
All right. Okay. Okay. Hey, I haven't been with you guys for weeks. Yeah, we had a long break too, it seems like. Okay, so how is everyone doing? Where is everybody? Maria, we can start with you. What are you working on now?
Well, I'm on the frame.
Great.
And I've sewn one of my corners. So, and I'm on to sewing the other corners. So that's where, and I was, and organising there, I'd done the flaps wrong, I must have, where the ears, and they were folding in the right direction. So I've managed to sort that out now so that they all fold up in the right way.
Okay. Have you got your interfacing and facing on the face of the, you do?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, great. Okay, good.
I'm getting there bit by bit.
Yeah.
I'm on the daunting bit that's not so daunting once you're on it.
When you're in the middle of it, parts of it are daunting, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to just, breathe. It'll be fine.
That's great. So Lynne, where have you gotten to? You must be.
Must be somewhere.
Ah.
That's about it, I think. So I've had finished sewing the frame part, and I'm on to the little squares.
Okay.
Which are tricky little things.
What are you doing with that? Do you have any questions about the squares beyond just they're very fiddly?
Well, I'd done them a little differently, and John and I had a little chat about it last time because I basted them before I put them onto the thing. And I've now sort of placed them, which I'm hoping there's one that I haven't placed, but you can perhaps, I don't know whether you can see where I've placed them.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that that's right when they come through the other side, which, well, I'll see, won't I? I shall try one. I'll try one and see how it goes.
I always basted mine before I put them on.
Did you? Right.
And then I basted them on.
Yes, that's what I've done. And then now I'm ready to kind of stitch them and see I'll try one and see what happens. And I'm hoping it's in the right place on the other side, because that's the thing that I know Trudy discovered, that hers was not quite the same on one side to the other. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So Ellen, what step are you on? You're still muted.
Oh, I'm on the frame and I've got the facings done.
Okay. Okay.
And my Rakasu is actually in North Carolina right now, but I hadn't been able to meet with y'all in such a long time, and I need to practice the Namo Kiebutsu stitch, so I thought I'd check in.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks for being here. Thanks
All
for
right.
you. Yeah.
All right, Marla, how are things going? Yay, the face is all together. Are you done with the face?
Yes, I am. And I only had to tear out, you know, the ones that I sewed over the line. So that was okay. It's like, okay, I found out before it was the whole Rakasu was done. And now I have a little bit of a challenge. I go to the library 2 hours, 2 or 3 times a week to do focus work, and that's where I've been sewing my Rakasu. And what I didn't realize is that the people who use that table don't clean it when they're done. And so now I'm like, oh my God, there's schmutz on my face. And I don't know what to do because I'm afraid to iron it because I don't want it to become, you know, ironed in. So I need to probably follow the instructions for cleaning.
Yeah, what I would suggest is getting some, you know, kind of tepid water, a basin of tepid water, and add some very gentle fabric soap and just kind of soak it.
Okay, and all my numbers will go away, but that doesn't matter anymore, does it? The 1A, 1B.
You need to know what the 1A and the 1B know, but you need to know which is the first corner. And so you lay the face out in the proper orientation. The upper left hand corner is this first corner, and then the upper right hand is the second, and then around like that clockwise.
Okay, what I will do then, I think, is I'll take a picture of it before I wash it and then just draw it on again.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it the first time I went, what is that? Now I take, you know, decontamination wipes to the library with me and clean the table to within an inch of its life. But anyway, so the next thing, and I've been watching videos, is attaching it to the interface. And I didn't write down the date of the video that I found where that was all explained. So I've been going back through videos looking for it, but I've been taking notes. So anyway, that's where I am.
Good. So before you attach it to anything, you need to redraw. Once you get it washed and dried, you'll need to redraw a square, a rectangle on the face that you'll use. So I'm sure you've seen that on the video.
Yeah, the videos are very good about that. So the other question that I have is I'm poking big holes in my fingers, and I have gone down a rabbit hole on Amazon in the thimble section, and I'm wondering what everyone recommends for wrapping fingers. I don't need thimbles necessarily. I just need I've seen you with some stuff around your fingers, Anne, and I just wondered what you use.
No.
John uses something.
Oh, that's John's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could probably just use duct tape or something, but
use tape. I think I would use moleskin. You can go to the store and buy. Maybe that's a little thick, but there'll be some, you know, cloth bandage tape, probably, I guess that's what I would recommend.
Or a Band-Aid, yeah.
Band-Aid, yeah, and then
Yeah.
you've got a little bit of cushion.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Or is that what you call them? Band-aids? We call them plasters.
Oh,
Right.
that sounds
I was
very
saying-
big.
Saying a plaster, and you're probably thinking, what's she on about? A plaster on my bone? But yeah,
Isn't that what they
Band-Aid.
put on a broken bone?
Really, what they do on the outside of a house.
Thank
Good.
you.
All right, yeah, you are far along. Great. All right, Rosemarie.
Okay, so I am working on the frame, drawing the lines and measuring, just right at the beginning. So
So have you cut it out?
I'm about to, because I don't have all the lines in. So John had suggested do the lines first. The thing is, though, somehow I forgot about that instruction for the length, and my length came out a little bit longer than the usual. So it is of the face 1 to 2.8
Of the face?
of the face. So the whole thing, the whole thing laid out, the whole.
Okay, so the length
Instead of
the frame-
121.9, which is, if you did it exactly, added up all those numbers, 121.9.
Uh-huh.
However, for some reason, I cut it at 121.8, which is like 1 centimeter less than the measurements that I had.
A millimeter.
Millimeter, yeah. So do I just, it's okay, right?
Yeah, a
I'm
millimeter
just-
is fine.
I'm just laying it on this frame and on this face the best way that it looks, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, no, a millimeter is within the margin of error.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, so I'm drawing the outline lines, and I don't know, I got this nice meter rule, but when I draw them, it looks a little like curvy. I don't know if it could just be the way the fabric is cut on the bottom, making it look that way. So I'm measuring as best I can to get the square corners.
One thing you might try, if you've got a surface that's long enough, is put the piece of fabric down and tape it down
Okay,
so that it doesn't wiggle around,
I can do that.
because it will. And then and it's such a long line
Yeah.
that it's hard to get it.
Yeah, I also found that the fabric kind of, does that, it moves around, I mean, it doesn't move, but it sort of stretches almost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really stay rectangular. The weave.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not vital. I mean, your lines are more vital that they be parallel than that your lines are actually parallel with the thread.
Okay, so I think I'm good. I'm gonna keep working on this. When I get the outline done, should I then cut the bottom off? So that I have so the bottom is of the strip is longer.
Oh, cut what I would do is I would keep it a bigger piece of fabric and I would draw all the lines.
All the lines.
Yeah,
Okay.
before I cut and made it a smaller piece of fabric. I think it'll be a little bit easier to draw the lines with a big piece of fabric.
Okay. Thank you. I think I'm good.
Does anybody have any questions or anything particular that they're wondering about?
Just want to ask you, Anne, with
Yeah.
with the little squares, I'm assuming that you don't do the knot, you do the same 3-stitch hold at the beginning.
Make sure what it actually says to do. Yeah, you do. Let's see, I'm looking at it though. Doesn't say.
No, it doesn't. So
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the easiest thing to do, is just to overstitch by like 3 stitches.
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I have no idea what overstitch by 3 stitches means, but I suppose by the time I get there, I'll probably understand.
Well, basically, you're just going to go, you're going to get to the end of your line of stitches, and then you're going to keep going exactly over 3 more stitches.
Oh, yes, yes. I remember that now in a video somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So, Ellen, how's the sewing going in North Carolina?
It's going well. I'm going there at least once a month.
Uh-huh.
And
How long do you guys sew for when you go?
depends, anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. Just
Yeah.
however long Jakuko can stay.
Yeah.
And there's somebody from Richmond's going with me usually. And then there's well, let's see, two of the priests are sewing something now from there, and sometimes a couple of other people from that Sangha in North Carolina are sewing too. So it's real nice. I really miss you guys, but it is nice. And also I'm so dense about this stuff. Sometimes I think I'm not sure I could do it without some hands-on, you know.
It makes a difference. Yeah, it's a different practice if you're just having to, I mean, especially with the frame, I think, and like Maria was saying, to which direction to fold the inner part.
Right. I have a lot of respect for those of you who have done the frame without somebody right there, you know.
Yeah. Well, good. That sounds great.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
I couldn't have done the frame without Anne's step by step and John's step by step.
Yeah.
Because you're inside the corner and you're trying to figure out which way to put things, and it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's amazing how it's all confusing and then it starts to come together. You know, that kind of process of this is impossible to
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you just keep following the instructions and suddenly something makes sense that you didn't really have to work out beforehand.
Yeah, that keeps surprising me. That it keeps on surprising me.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask you guys, do you want to just sew quietly and ask me questions, or would you like to have a reading, or is there? Rosemarie says reading.
Yeah, I like the readings.
Okay, great. We'll find something out of the chant book. A Song of the Jewel Mirror Samadhi. Tozan Ryokai. The teaching of thusness is intimately transmitted by Buddhas and ancestors. Now you have it. Preserve it well. A silver bowl filled with snow. A heron hidden in the moon. Taken as similar, they are not the same. Not distinguished, their places are known. The meaning does not reside in the words, but a pivotal moment brings it forth. Move, and you are trapped. Miss, and you fall into doubt and vacillation. Turning away and touching are both wrong, for it is like a massive fire. Just to depict it in literary form is to stain it with defilement. In darkest night, it is perfectly clear. In the light of dawn, it is hidden. It is a standard for all things. Its use removes all suffering. Although it is not constructed, it is not beyond words. Like facing a precious mirror, form and reflection behold each other. You are not it, but in truth, it is you. Like a newborn child, it is fully endowed with 5 aspects. Not going, no coming, no arising, no abiding. Baba Wawa. Is anything said or not? In the end, it says nothing, for the words are not yet right. In the hexagram double fire, when main and subsidiary lines are transposed, piled up, they become 3. The permutations make 5. Like the taste of the 5 flavored herb, like the 5-pronged vajra, wondrously embraced within the complete, drumming and singing begin together. Penetrate the source and travel the pathways. Embrace the territory and treasure the roads. You would do well to respect this. Do not neglect it. Natural and wondrous, it is not a matter of delusion or enlightenment. Within causes and conditions, time and season, it is serene and illuminating. So minute, it enters where there is no gap. So vast, it transcends dimension. A hair's breadth deviation, and you are out of tune. Now there are sudden and gradual, in which teachings and approaches arise. With teachings and approaches distinguished, each has its standard. Whether teachings and approaches are mastered or not, reality constantly flows, outside still and inside trembling, like tethered colts or cowering rats. The ancient sages grieved for them and offered them the Dharma. Led by their inverted views, they take black for white. When inverted thinking stops, the affirming mind naturally accords. If you want to follow in the ancient tracks, please observe the sages of the past. One on the verge of realizing the Buddha way contemplated a tree for 10 kalpas, like a battle-scarred tiger, like a horse with shanks gone gray. Because some are vulgar, jeweled tables and ornate robes. Because others are wide-eyed, cats and white oxen. With his archer's skill, Yi hit the mark at 100 paces. But when arrow points meet head on, how could it be a matter of skill? When the wooden man starts to sing, the stone woman gets up dancing. It's not within reach of feeling or consciousness. How could it involve deliberation? Ministers serve their lords. Children obey their parents. Not obeying is not filial. Failure to serve is no help. With practice hidden, function secretly, like a fool, like an idiot. Just to continue in this way is called the host within the host. I was really struck by the stanza, penetrate the source and travel the pathways. Embrace the territory and treasure the roads. You would do well to respect this. Do not neglect it. On silent illumination. Hong Zi Zeng Jue. Wide and far-reaching without limit, pure and clean, it emits light. Its spiritual potency is unobscured. Although it is bright, there are no objects of illumination. It can be said to be empty, yet this emptiness is full of luminosity. It illumines in self-purity, beyond the working of causes and conditions, apart from subject and object. Its wondrousness and subtleties are ever present. Its luminosity is also vast and open. Moreover, this is not something that can be conceived of as existence or non-existence, nor can it be deliberated about with words and analogies. Right here, at this pivotal axle, opening the swinging gate and clearing the way, it is able to respond effortlessly to circumstances. The great function is free from hindrances. At all places, turning and turning about, it does not follow conditions, nor can it be trapped in models. In the midst of everything, it settles securely. With that, it is identical to what that is. With this, it is identical to what this is. This and that interfuse and merge without distinction. Therefore, it is said, like the earth that holds up a mountain, unaware of its steepness and loftiness, like the stone that contains jade, unaware of the flawlessness of the jade. If one can be thus, this is truly leaving home. People who have left home must get a hold of the essence in this way. Patched-robe monks should wither away and freeze the diluted thoughts of the mind and rest from remnant conditioning. Single-mindedly restore and cultivate this field. Directly cut down all the overgrown grass throughout the boundary of the four directions. Do not allow a single speck of dust to defile this field. Spiritually potent, it is bright, vast, and removed. It is transparent. Thoroughly illumine that which comes before the principal essence, until you reach a state where the light becomes naked and pure, where not a single speck of dust can be attached to. When you tug and pull back this ox mind by the nose, it will naturally come alive and be imposing. Being quite unusual and outstanding, it mingles with others along the pathway without damaging people's sprouts and grain. Thriving and dynamic, the ox effortlessly responds to circumstances. responding to circumstances without artificiality. It thrives and is free-flowing, not fixed to any set place. It is free from fetters. This is the place where the ox plows through the field of the empty kalpa. Proceeding in such a way, all things appear vividly, without obscurity. Everywhere, all things manifest as they are, maintaining one thought for 10,000 years. Fundamentally, this is non-abiding in appearances. It is said, the mind ground contains every seed. The rain will universally cause them to sprout. When the meaning of the blossoming of the flower of enlightenment is understood, the fruit of Bodhi will ripen of its own accord. Being empty, it leaves no trace. In illumination, there are no dusts of emotion. When the light penetrates, stillness is profound. Mysteriously, it severs all defects and defilement. When you can thus understand yourself, you can thus resolve yourself. Clear and pure, wondrous and bright, this field is intrinsically yours. Many lifetimes of inability to resolve this matter of self-grasping only come from obscuring doubts and hovering delusions. All these are but self-created obstructions and blocks. Openly, wisdom freely roams. Internally, one forgets merits and rewards. Just directly relinquish this burden of the self. Turn around and resume your position. Put your feet firmly on the path. In this spontaneous responsiveness and wondrous function, all things encountered are reality. Here, there is not a single thing, from the tiniest hair to a speck of dust, outside yourself. The acupuncture needle of Zazen, Hongzi Juing Jue. The essential function of all Buddhists, the functional essence of all ancestors, is to know without touching things and illuminate without encountering objects. Knowing without touching things, this knowledge is innately subtle. Illuminating without encountering objects, this illumination is innately miraculous. The knowledge innately subtle has never engaged in discriminative thinking. The illumination innately miraculous has never displayed the slightest identification. Never engaging in discriminating thinking, this knowledge is rare, without match. Never displaying the most minute identification, this illumination is complete, without grasping. The water is clear right down to the bottom. Fish lazily swim on. The sky is vast without end. Birds fly into the distance. And this is another version by Dogen of that same teaching. Zazenshin, or the point of Zazen. by Ehe Dogen. The essential function of every Buddha, the functioning essence of every ancestor. It moves along with your non-thinking and is completed in the realm of non-merging. As it moves along with your non-thinking, its appearance is immediate. As it is completed in the realm of non-merging, completeness itself is realization. If its appearance is immediate, you have no defilement. When completeness is realization, you stay in neither the general nor the particular. If you have immediacy without defilement, immediacy is dropping away with no obstacles. Realization, neither general nor particular, is effort without desire. Clear water all the way to the bottom. A fish swims like a fish. Vast sky, transparent throughout. A bird flies like birds. Such wonderful poetry. But once I stop and try to figure it out, it's completely obscure. This one line, realization, neither general nor particular, is effort without desire. Effort without desire is the name on the back of one of Flint's, Rakasu. It's the name I think that, I believe that Blanche Hartman gave him, effort without desire. It's a great koan. It's a great koan. How do you exert effort without having a goal in mind? What do you focus on? I'm going to read that one again. I just love this poetry. Zazenshin by Ehe Dogen. The essential function of every Buddha, the functioning essence of every ancestor. It moves along with your non-thinking and is completed in the realm of non-merging. As it moves along with your non-thinking, its appearance is immediate. As it is completed in the realm of non-merging, completeness itself is realization. If its appearance is immediate, you have no defilement. When completeness is realization, you stay in neither the general nor the particular. If you have immediacy without defilement, immediacy is dropping away with no obstacles. Realization, neither general nor particular, is effort without desire. Clear water all the way to the bottom. A fish swims like a fish. Vast sky, transparent throughout. A bird flies like birds. Metta Sutta, loving kindness meditation. This is what should be accomplished by the one who is wise, who seeks the good and has obtained peace. Let one be strenuous, upright, and sincere, without pride, easily contented and joyous. Let one not be submerged by the things of the world. Let one not take upon oneself the burden of riches. Let one's senses be controlled. Let one be wise, but not puffed up. Let one not desire great possessions even for one's family. Let one do nothing that is mean or that the wise would reprove. May all beings be happy. May they be joyous and live in safety. All beings, whether weak or strong, in high or middle or low realms of existence, small or great, visible or invisible, near or far, born or to be born, may all beings be happy. Let no one deceive another, nor despise any being in any state. Let none by anger or hatred wish harm to another. Even as a mother at the risk of her life watches over and protects her only child, so with a boundless mind should one cherish all living things, suffusing love over the entire world, above, below, and all around without limit. So let one cultivate an infinite goodwill towards the whole world, standing or walking, sitting or lying down, during all one's waking hours. Let one practice the way with gratitude, not holding to fixed views, endowed with insight, freed from sense appetites. One who achieves the way will be freed from the duality of birth and death. So I found something called Zen Letters, the teachings of Yuanwu. That looks very, he's a Chinese master from 1063 to 1135. In direct person-to-person lessons, intimately revealing the inner workings of the psychology of enlightenment. These teachings are drawn from letters written by Yuanwu to various fellow teachers, disciples, and lay students, to women as well as men, to people with families and worldly careers, as well as monks and nuns, to advanced adepts as well as beginning students. A key figure in Zen history, Yuanwu is best known as the author of the Blue Cliff Record. His letters, here in English for the first time, are one of the treasures of Zen literature. I opened the page to a reading with the title, A Boatload of Moonlight. That sounds good. The early sages lived with utmost frugality, and the ancient worthies overcame hardships and lived austerely. They purified their will in this, forgetting food and sleep. They studied with total concentration and accurate focus, seeking true realization. How could they have been making plans for abundant food and fine clothes and luxurious housing and fancy medicines? When it gets to the point where the path is not as good as in ancient times, then there is criticism that the wheel of the Dharma is not turning and the wheel of food is taking precedence. Because of this, The Zen monasteries call their chief elders meal chiefs. Isn't this completely opposite from the ancient way? Nevertheless, in the gate of changing along with conditions, we also carry out the secondary level. On the northern mountain, welcoming wayfarers from all directions, we look to the southern fields. This fall, it happens that there is a big crop. We have asked you to oversee the harvest, and now that you are about to go, you have asked for some words of instruction. So I have told you about the foregoing set of circumstances. What is important is to respect the root and extend it to the branches. This will benefit both root and branches, and also illuminate the legitimate and fundamental task of people of complete enlightenment and comprehensive mastery. If you work hard to carry this out, you will surely improve. In general, to study the path and seek out the mystery, you must have a great basis in faith. You use this faith to believe in a deep sense that this matter does not lie in the words or in any of the myriad experiential states. In fact, the truth, the path is right where you stand. Put aside the crazy and false mind that has been concocting your knowledge and understanding, and make it so that nothing whatsoever is weighing on your mind. Fully take up this matter in your perfect, wondrous, inherent nature, which is fundamentally pure and quiescent. Subject and object are both forgotten, and the road of words and thoughts is cut off. You open through and clearly see your original face. Make it so that once found, it is found forever and remains solid and unmoving. After that, you can change your step and transform your personal existence. You can say things and put forth energy without falling into the realms of the delusions of form, sensation, conception, evaluation, and consciousness. Then all the phenomena of enlightenment will appear before you in regular array. You will reach the state where everything you do while walking and sitting is all Zen. You will shed the root of birth and death and forever leave behind all that covers and binds you. You will become a free and untrammeled wayfarer without concerns. Why would you need to search the pages for someone else's dead words? There are ancestral teachers on the tips of the 100 grasses. With these words, Zazenshin pointed out so people could become acquainted with it. Quan Ping said, the great meaning is there in the fields. Bai Zhang extended his hands, wanting to let people know. If you become round and complete as a ripe grain of rice, this is the transmission of the mind seal. If you still long for a peaceful existence, this will make you experience the first noble truth, that suffering exists. But how will you say something about coming out of the weeds? A boatload of bright moonlight carries it back. This section is called Truth and Perception. The present perception is the truth.
But the truth is beyond this perception. If you are attached to perception, then this is a perception. It is not the arriving at the truth. Those who arrive at truth transcend perception, but they manage to use perception without dwelling in perception. When you pass directly through perception and get free of it, it is all the fundamental truth. This truth is not being or non-being. It is not speech or silence. Yet, it can manifest both being and non-being, both speech and silence. It is forever constant and unchanging. Therefore, Yuanwu said, it cannot be existent when you speak of it, and non-existent when you don't, or existent when you think of it, and non-existent when you don't. You must subtly arrive at this truth and get its great function. Always let transcendent wisdom appear, whether you are speaking or silent, whatever you are doing. Is there any need to say that it is close at hand when you are in your teacher's presence and far away when you are in the countryside? As you go directly forward, naturally, you will encounter it wherever you are. All the enlightened ones and ancestral teachers take this one true thing very seriously. It is spread among beings of all potentials, high and low, noble and lowly, without any preferences or aversions. It is in all the myriad kinds of action, naturally real, clear, and complete. If you make a special thing out of your views of Buddha Dharma and mystic marvels, then there is a lack. But if you are able to refrain from creating arbitrary views and are clean and naked like this, then it is completely revealed. If this matter were in words, then it should be definable in a single statement with no further change. Why would there be thousands and thousands of sayings imparted by enlightened adepts with no end to them? From this we know that it is not within words, but we need to use words to illustrate this matter. Sharp-spirited people should directly comprehend this idea. Those who realize transcendence pass through words and phrases and can make them come to life. They can use one saying as 100,000 sayings, or use 100,000 sayings as one saying. Why should you have any more doubts about famous Zen sayings like these? Mind itself is Buddha. It's not mind, not Buddha. It's not mind, not Buddha, not a thing. Mind is not Buddha. Knowledge is not the way. East Mountain walks on the water. Strike the midnight bell at noon. Donkey is eating grass in the backyard. Hide your body in the Northern Dipper. All these sayings are strung on one thread. The Venerable Yang Yang and Zhao Zhou. When one doesn't bring a single thing, then what? Zhao Zhou said, put it down. Yang Yang asked, if I don't bring a single thing, what should I put down? Zhao said, I see you cannot put it down. At these words, Yang Yang was greatly enlightened. Later, Huang Long wrote a verse to go with this story. Not bringing a single thing, he can't lift it, even using both arms. A clear-eyed man like Zhao is hard to find. At a word, Yang Yang realized his error. If he stepped back, he'd fall into a deep pit. In his heart was boundless joy, like that of a pauper finding a jewel. Once the poison is forgotten, there's no connection. Snakes and tigers became his intimate friends, different species equally understood over the lonely centuries. Pure wind has never stopped. If you discuss Zhao Zhou's answer, put it down from the standpoint of common sense. Yang Yang said he wasn't bringing a single thing, so how could Zhao Zhou tell him to put it down? From this we know that the eye of objective reality illuminates the finest subtleties. Zhao Zhou experienced the serious disease of carrying one's conditioned perceptions around everywhere to make Yang Yang begin to feel shame. But Yang Yang still did not realize what Zhao Zhou meant, so he persisted with his question. Zhao Zhou again pointed out his error, at which point Yang Yang dissolved and was at last thoroughly set free. Later on, Yang Yang got to the point that he could tame wild tigers and poisonous snakes. Isn't this a case of inner feeling and outward response? Layman Pang was with his whole family sitting around the fire. Layman Pang suddenly said, difficult, 10 bushels of oil hemp spread out on a tree. Mrs. Pang said, easy, on the tips of the 100 grasses, the meaning of Zen. Their daughter, Ling Zhao, said, not difficult, not easy, eating when hungry, sleeping when tired. Usually, when I relate this story to people, most of them prefer Ling Zhao's remarks for saving energy and dislike what Old Man Pang and Old Lady Pang said about difficult and easy. This is nothing but making interpretations by following the words. People who think like this are far from getting to the root of the fundamental things. That is why the arising of the tracks of words is the origin of paths that deviate from truth. Only if you can forget the words and embody the meaning will you see how these 3 Zen teachers put forth a hand and together held up the bottomless basket, how they strained out mussels and clams. You will see how in every move they have the ability to kill people's false selves and conditioned perceptions, and how in every place they had a road to get out on. Metta Sutta, loving kindness meditation. This is what should be accomplished by the one who is wise, who seeks the good and has obtained peace. Let one be strenuous, upright, and sincere, without pride, easily contented and joyous. Let one not be submerged by the things of the world. Let one not take upon oneself the burden of riches. Let one's senses be controlled. Let one be wise, but not puffed up. And let one not desire great possessions, even for one's family. Let one do nothing that is mean or that the wise would reprove. May all beings be happy. May they be joyous and live in safety. All beings, whether weak or strong, in high or middle or low realms of existence, small or great, visible or invisible, near or far, born or to be born, may all beings be happy. Let no one deceive another nor despise any being in any state. Let none by anger or hatred wish harm to another. Even as a mother at the risk of her life watches over and protects her only child, so with a boundless mind should one cherish all living things, suffusing love over the entire world, above, below, and all around without limit. So let one cultivate an infinite goodwill toward the whole world, standing or walking, sitting or lying down, during all one's waking hours. Let one practice the way with gratitude, not holding to fixed views, endowed with insight, freed from sense appetites. One who achieves the way will be freed from the duality of birth and death. Yeah, that's a good one. Kind of an anecdote to all the other words. We've got another 10 minutes, so I'm going to begin gathering stuff up, unless anybody has any particular questions or concerns.
How long would you soak your face?
I would probably soak it about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And if you've got any extra fabric, maybe that you cut off from something else, if you need to scrub something, take a little bit of the extra fabric and use it like a little sponge, like a little scrub brush, scrub it with the same. Oh, I should have read this thing about how to wash your Rakasu for Marla. Care of Rakasu, wearing when, wearing forms, cleaning and care of the Rakasu. You guys will love this. Where is it? Here we go. After cleaning and before wearing, set on altar or high table. Light incense, scatter petals, circumambulate clockwise 3 times or more. Full bows, 3, 6, or 9. Kneel with hands in gasho, Rakasu set on head. Recite the road chant. I love the part about the flower petals.
And is that before you've ever worn it, you're supposed to do that? Like,
This is after you wash it.
oh, after
Well,
you wash it.
It's after you wash it or before, because it's already too late for any of the flower petals or anything.
It's after you wash it.
Oh, good. I have some flower petals.
And some incense. I'm sure you have some incense.
I'll burn something. I have those instructions in my papers, so thank you.
Good. Good. Well, that ought to be a project for the.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start putting my things away, and we'll bow out in about 6 minutes. Thank you all so much. It's really nice to see everyone. Everyone's getting on really well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anne. It's good to work with you today.
Yeah.
And
You're so
especially-
patient.
Especially your reading is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
It really goes in with sewing, doesn't it? It really kind of goes in.
Yeah, you can really listen. Yeah. Thank you all. And have a good rest of whatever the
Happy
day
Halloween.
is. Happy Halloween. That's right. Tomorrow I have a pumpkin to carve.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's see, change that.
Happy pumpkin carving.
Thanks.